Hey guys, I hope y'all are doing well today. So I'm sure by now you've heard all about the new Fenty Skin Tint. I recently did a review and wear test on this and I really like it. I think I like it better than the foundation. So today I'm going to be doing like this soft glowy spring makeup look featuring the Fenty Skin Tint, but I'm also going to be doing a full face of Fenty Beauty products. So if this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on this video today and welcome. My name is SonyaNicole and I post new videos on my channel every week, including some stuff for makeup lovers who are 40 and over. So I really hope that y'all will consider subscribing while you're here today. I would really appreciate the support, and of course I would love to have you join the channel. Okay y'all, let's jump right into it. Okay, so I already have my moisturizer and sunscreen on, so I'm going right in with the skin tints. I'm going to be mixing shades 15 and 17 together. So the first time that I wore these, I did like an equal mix of both of these shades, but I think today I'm going to mix in mostly 15, which is a neutral undertone. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of 17 in there and see how I like that. A lot of y'all told me that y'all liked the way that it looked, the skin tint, in my last video. And I liked it too, but I did think it was a little on the warm side. So I guess I'm just not used to seeing like warm, like golden almost on my skin tone. So I'm going to see if I like this one a little bit better. And I'm going to be mixing this in with the Morphe brush today. And I'm thinking that, I should say I'm hoping that that will like tone down the warmth just a little bit and see if I like that better. So there seems to be like some mixed feelings about the skin tint not having SPF in it. I like the fact that it doesn't have SPF. I think it's best to rely on your sunscreen like in your skincare and then just put your makeup on top of it. Like, it's not a bad thing if makeup has sunscreen in it, but I think it's best to just put your sunscreen on underneath it. Because like if you were relying on something like this for sunscreen, you would have to put on a whole lot of it. So okay, I'm gonna do the other side of my face, but I kind of feel like I might go back and add in a little bit more of 17. I do think I like it better with the 17 mixed in a little bit more, but let me do the other side first. So I'm looking at this side kind of settling in as I'm blending out this side. And I feel like as it's settling in, it does look better. Doesn't look quite as neutral, I guess. Okay, so here is the skin tint all blended out. So I'm going to have to look at my other video and see which one I like better. I do think I like this better with most of the neutral undertone and a little bit of the warm one mixed in, as opposed to doing like 50-50. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. And we're going to move on to some eyeshadow. Okay, this eye is partially done, so I'm going to do this one. I'm starting off with the Fenty Eye Primer. And I'm going to put most of this like on the lid area, and then I'm going to kind of drag the excess up toward the brow bone. And then I'm just flattening it out with my brush just to make sure it's nice and even, so the eyeshadow goes on top of it nice and even. I forgot to tell y'all, for my brows, I went in with Snap Shadow palette number 2 and I used this like grayish shade for my brows. I like powders for my eyebrows. So Fenty does have brow pencils, but I like using that powder, and I actually use the eyeshadow out of here quite often to do my eyebrows. Okay, so for the eyeshadow, I'm going to be using Snap Shadow palette number 5. This is the warm peach one. So I'm starting off with this shade here. It's like a deep peachy bronze shade, and I'm going to put that on like the center of my lid. And I'm just packing it on, and I am dragging it up pretty high just to make sure that you can see it above my fold. And next I'm going in with this shimmery shade over here. I'm going to put that like on the inner part of the lid. I usually don't do like really warm colors like this, but for some reason I was just in the mood for that today. So I'm going to put that in the inner corner. And then I'm going to let it kind of overlap the deep shade. And I'm hoping y'all can see, like, when these two colors meet in the middle, they kind of form like a, almost like an orangey color when these two kind of mix together. So it makes it really easy to like fuse these two colors into one another. And next I'm going in with this matte shade over here. That's gonna go on the outer part of the lid. I'm still using the same brush. I just wiped off the shimmery shades. And again, I'm letting this one kind of overlap that shade in the middle. So I'm sticking with this same matte shade, but I'm also picking up some of the shade in the middle. And I'm just gonna mix the two of them together and put just a little tiny bit of that on my lower lash line. I just want to add like, I think I have too much of the deep shade on here. I just want to add just a little bit of like dimension down here, but I don't want my eyes to look like all smoky or anything today. So this is a clean brush with no eyeshadow on it. I'm just going to take it and kind of blend out where all of the shades stop on my lid, just to kind of fuse this area out a little bit. And then I'm mixing the two lighter matte shades together, and I'm just gonna blend that around everything, just to kind of buff everything out, and then make sure on the outer corner that everything is connected. My top lash line and the lower lash line, just make sure that they are, you know, connected to one another. And I'm going back into the lightest shimmery shade, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on my brow bone. And then I'm not sure what I want to do with my inner corner just yet, so I'm gonna skip that part, and I don't want to do that until after I do my concealer anyway. So moving on to concealer, I'm using one of the, oh, this is dirty. I'm using one of the Match Sticks. This one is in the shade Caramel. So I do have that other, the Fenty, the liquid, the cream concealer, but I really don't like that concealer. And this one, I'll say, is not like one of my favorite concealers either, but it is one that I can use. But I do feel like I have to put on a good amount of this to get like some coverage from it, but I can make use with it. So, but the creamy like liquid concealer that they have, I've tried using it like a handful of times and I just can't get into it. So okay, so I'm gonna take my foundation brush to blend out on my chin and my forehead. One thing I really like about this brush, so this is the Morphe E63 brush. This is the one that came with their new foundation, and I love how I can get like right in the middle of my brows with this brush. So you see how, like, let me know what y'all think, but I feel like it doesn't really look like I put concealer right here. I think that's because the this concealer just doesn't really give a whole lot of coverage. So I'm switching over to another brush. This is the Rare Beauty foundation brush, but I always use this to blend out my concealer around my mouth and on my under eye area. I'm just going to blend those out, and I like to blend out the under eye area last, just so that that concealer can sit the longest and kind of like thicken up. This concealer though doesn't really need to thicken up, but I'm just so used to like blending that out last. Okay, I think I'm going to go in with some more of this concealer and blend that out one more time. So one thing I'm noticing with my makeup, I do feel like now I might want to go back in with a little bit of 17 on my face, because I do think that this concealer, it's just not looking right with my foundation or like with the skin tint. I don't know, it just seems, I don't know, it's like the concealer is making the rest of my face look kind of like I have a white cast or something, which I've never had that happen with this concealer before. It's like the concealer is like really bringing out the lack of color in my face. I don't know, but I'm gonna go back to the skin tint and I'm gonna mix in a little bit of 17. Maybe I'll just kind of build it up on my cheeks a little bit where I have like extra stuff going on, and see how I like that. One of the best things about the skin tint, in my opinion, is how it builds up. Like, I think it builds up really, really nicely. Like, it layers really nicely on my skin. Yeah, doesn't that look better? Like, I don't know. I guess I do need to add more of 17 or at least do like an equal mix of both. But in the last video that I did, it just looked like my skin was just too warm. But maybe that's just something that I have to kind of get used to. Yeah, I think that looks a whole lot better. Let me know what y'all think. All right, so moving on to setting my concealer. This is gonna be my first time using this, and it might end up being like way too light, so I'll have to kind of fix it if that happens. But this is one of the Fenty powders, the setting powder, but this one is in the shade Lavender. And I kept thinking like this is gonna be like way too light for me, but this is really the only concealer or powder that they have that's like lighter than my skin tone, like one that I can use to set my under eye and add some brightness. This is really the only one that they have that doesn't run like yellowish. I do have the other powder in Cashew, but that is more so for like setting my face. When I tried to put Cashew on as an under eye powder, to me it just made my under eyes look darker. So I'm gonna try the shade Lavender. Okay, so I'm hoping that y'all can see what it looks like. It just may end up looking like really bright and ashy on me, but we'll see. So this brush that I'm using, I got this from Ipsy. This is the, what is the name of this? The Farrah Press Powder 620F brush. This is my new favorite brush for setting my under eye. Okay, so far that's going on very translucent, which is good. So that doesn't look bad at all. Okay, so I don't think that that looks bad. I don't think my under eyes look as good as they normally do though, but that's because this concealer is not the best for adding coverage. Maybe I should have went in with a little bit more of the skin tint on my under eye area before I went in with concealer, so I'll remember that for next time. And then I'm just gonna set the forehead and the chin area as well. So I actually think I really like this powder, but I'm gonna have to use it with some of my like staple under eye concealers to see how I really like it. But it's definitely not making my under eyes look darker, so that's a good thing. And I think for me it's just like a straight up translucent powder, which is great. So I'm gonna play around with this one again. And then before I set the rest of my face, I'm gonna go in with one of the cream blushes. So this one is in the shade Fuego Flush. So this product here, this comes in a whole lot of shades, but I just couldn't find like one shade that I really liked. I do think this is a bit orange for my taste. This is going to be my first time using this. I like ones that are a bit more peachy or more like apricot, not straight up orange like this, but we'll see. But I really hope that Fenty comes out with powder blushes. Like cream blushes they've been growing on me a lot. Like I have quite a few that I like using, but I still feel like nothing really beats like a good old powder blush. So I would love it if Fenty took their powder foundation formula and turned that into blush colors. I think that would be great. All right, I think I have to, yeah, that's what it is. I kind of swirled my finger inside the blush because I feel like it was like an overlay that I had to get rid of because the brush wasn't really picking anything up. I'm not a fan of applying these types of blushes with my finger. So now that I've kind of like woken up the product, let me see if I can go back. Yeah, I'm picking up a lot more now, so okay. There we go. Yeah, this is a bit orangey for me. Like, it's a little too orange. I wish it was more like a peachy shade. And then it's gonna make my face kind of look monochromatic, which is nothing wrong with that, but I usually like to offset my blushes. So like, because of the colors that I used on my eyes, I would have preferred more of like a pinkish blush for today. Okay, I'm gonna go on top of my blush with something else in a little bit because this to me is just making my cheek look dewy, but I can't really see any color. I can see a little bit of orange, but I feel like I can't really see any color, and I don't want to apply more of it. I'm thinking if I just keep building it up, it will build, but I don't want to put like too much of the orange on my cheek. So I'm going to go in with something else for my cheeks in a little bit, but I want to set my face first. So this is one of the powder foundations in the shade 340. And this is what I have been using as a setting powder with all of my foundations lately. Because this is a powder foundation though, it can kind of quickly add coverage to your face. So I would say just go in really light with this one, unless you know, of course, want it to add more coverage. But like for today, I really just wanted to, you know, set the face. So I'm setting kind of like around that blush first, and then I'm gonna go back and set the blush last. I just don't want to miss and pick up the blush and get it like anywhere else on my face. So I pulled out my Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule highlighter, and I'm gonna go on top of that cream blush with the shade Ginger Binge. So this one is like the least shimmery of the two shades. So I'm just gonna use that same blush brush and just kind of pop that right on top. So you see how you can already like see it a little bit more. This highlighter is way more pigmented than that blush. But like I said, I'm sure I could have built that blush up, you know, even more, but I just thought it was making my cheeks look much more dewy than I wanted. So that at least added like some color back into my cheeks. So lately I've been using another powder foundation in a darker shade as a bronzer, but for today I'm going to use one of the actual bronzers. So this one is in the shade Coco Naughty, and I do really like this, but I've been saying since I got it that I wish I had gotten the shade lighter than this. I just never picked it up. And Fenty just had their friends and family sale. I should have added that to my list when I bought stuff from there, but I'm gonna go in with this bronzer today. And besides, I don't even remember the last time I used this bronzer, so it is nice to, you know, be able to pick it up and play around with it since I haven't played with it in a while. And I'm putting some on my nose too. And now I'm just softening that bronzer right back out on my nose. Okay, I feel like I always have like this shadow on my nose that I can't get rid of, but I guess it is just a shadow because I can only see it when I move my face like in certain angles, but it's so annoying. But anyway, moving on. I'm going into another palette. This is Snap Shadow palette number 9. This one is called the Wine palette. So I'm picking up this shimmery shade here, and I think I'll use that for my inner corner. I'm going to set everything with the Fenty Refreshing Spray. I haven't been using setting spray lately. Like, I feel like I just don't use it like in colder months. I just don't think I need it, but I do want to use this for today. And the mister on this thing is just amazing. It's so refreshing. I can sit there and just spray this stuff all day. I love the way it sprays out. Alright, I'm going to do my eyeliner and mascara off camera. This is the Fly Liner, and 'Cause I'm Black, it's the mini one. And then I have this little mini tiny mascara. This was free for buying something off of Fenty. So I'm going to do both of these off camera and then I'll come back and finish up. Okay, so here's a close-up of my finished eye look. So this was actually my first time using the eyeliner and mascara. So I really like this eyeliner. I'm most likely going to get this in the large size because this is really nice. It reminds me of the Rare Beauty eyeliner, which is my favorite right now. This one is really similar to that. I didn't like the mascara though. I felt like I had to pile this on. I feel like I have like maybe 4 or 5 layers of this on, and it just took like a whole lot of work to get it to kind of like show on my lashes. I do have one of their colored mascaras that they came out with back in the fall. I have the burgundy one, and I remember the same thing with that one. I just feel like you have to really like pack it on to show. So not a fan of the mascara, but I love this eyeliner. Okay, so let's finish everything off with some lips. So I think that the lipstick that I want to wear today, I think it looks better when I wear it with a lip liner, but Fenty does not have liners yet. I'm assuming that's something that they're going to come out with at some point. So I'm going to start off with one of their, I think this is called the Mademoiselle lipsticks. I'm going to start off with this one, and this one is in the shade PMS. It's like a really deep like wine, like burgundy color, almost brown, I guess. I'm going to see if I can apply this as a lip liner. So it might come off kind of thick, but I'm going to see if I can apply like a really thin line of it. Oh, sorry, I'm blocking y'all, huh? Okay, I think that that's still like a little deeper than what I wanted it to be, but I'm just gonna go with it and see how I like the finished look. For my lipstick, I'm using one of the Slip Shine lipsticks, and this one is in the shade Glaze. So this is like a really like new, like peachy color. So I'm gonna put this in the center of my lips first, and then I'll go on top of the liner to lighten that up. Okay, I think that looks okay. I do wish the liner was a little lighter, but I really don't have anything else to use. All the other shades that I have, it wouldn't work like as a liner, but this doesn't look bad, but I did want it to be just a little bit lighter, you know? Okay guys, and here is my finished look using a full face of Fenty Beauty. So let me know what y'all think. I really hope that y'all enjoyed the video today. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next video. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.